Today, everybody, we begin our quadrilateral quest. We are going to be focusing today on all the properties of a parallelogram. All right? You were given 6 problems to do. What I'm going to do is we're going to work through the first 6 problems. And right now, I'm going to zoom out just a bit so that we can see this parallelogram that goes with these first 6 problems. Now, question number 1, it says angle DAB. All right? I know all of you are dabbing right now in the background. Okay? There you go. Go ahead and get your dabs out of your system. There you go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this in this particular color of magenta. Whenever you're making an angle, you have to start at the beginning, which is D. Work your way to A, and then work your way all the way to B. So what's that referring to? That's referring to this angle right in here. So I'm going to highlight that. That's this angle right in here. Now, if we go to our properties, if you look at our properties, you guys right here see letter C, opposite angles are congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. So which means this angle right here would have to be congruent to the angle that is opposite. These are considered to be opposite angles. Now, there's 2 different answers that I would accept. One answer that I would accept would be angle B, C, D. The other angle that I would accept would be angle D, C, B. But what needs to be exactly in the middle? C. So right now I'm going to write angle B, C, and D. That is the answer to number 1. Or what could you put? DCB. Those angles are congruent. All right. First question. Second question. It says angle ABD. So I'm going to change up the color here. I'm going to start with A. I'm going to go to B. And I'm going to go to D, which means I'm asking you to locate this angle right here. So this is angle ABD. Now, it's kind of hard to see which angle would be congruent to that. So what I'm going to do is, you guys should know that when you have some parallel lines, okay? So right now, AB and DC are parallel lines. You guys remember the definition of a line that passes through? Transversal. Now, this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle right here for one reason and one reason only. Do you know what we call these angles? They have a specific name. So these are alternate interior angles. So right now, we could say this angle right here is not just angle D. We have to be more specific than that. Okay? We could say it's B to D to C, or we could say it's from C to D to B. So I'm going to write it angle B to D to C. These are alternate. I'm going to write down here so you guys understand it's alternate interior angles. All right, clear that out? Right now, this is probably the easiest one. Right now, it says AB right there. What's AB? What's that? What do those double L's mean? Parallel, like a pair of L's. Okay. All right, okay. Sorry? DC. Yeah. DC is correct. So right now, all I'm going to write is segment AB is parallel to segment DC. Make sure you put the segment symbol on it. It is. Okay. I'm going to keep going right here, changing colors. B to G. Right there. This right here has to be congruent to what? DG. Very good. It's okay if you said GD, as long as you are talking about the segment GD, not what it symbolizes in movies. Okay. So here we go. So right now I'm going to put segment BG is congruent to segment DG right there. Now we're going to get a little bit more complicated here. Okay? So right now I'm going to trace, everybody, I'm going to trace triangle ABD. So focus on right here. We're going from A to B to D. This is where, everybody, this is where order matters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'm going to represent this color for angle A of the triangle. I'm going to represent this color for angle B. And I'm going to represent this color for angle D over here. Okay? So I want you to focus on order matters. So right now, what do we know about parallelograms? We know that what? Well, they are made up, this happens to be made up of 2, or you can say, well, we don't know about this angle right here. You're right, the parallelogram's all out of 360. But right here, what's C say over here? Opposite angles are congruent. Well, consecutive angles are supplementary, but opposite angles are congruent. Right, that's the first thing I want you guys to understand. Okay. So right now, this is going to be important because what did I say at the beginning? What matters? Order. Order matters. Which means, if it starts with A, then over here, my triangle that I need to start with angle A and angle C are the same, right? So I need to start with, if that starts with an A, what do I need to start with over here?
I thought you meant the next one after.
Okay, all right. Just listen to what I'm trying to go step by step. Now, this is going to be very, very, very important that we also figure out what we need to label. So check this out. See that angle there? You got to label the what? The alternate interior angle. Can you see how these red angles are alternate interior angles? And these green angles, this green angle, that's the alternate interior angle right over here. Because remember, these lines are also parallel. So we have 2 sets of alternate interior angles. The green angles are alternate interior. The red angles are alternate interior. So let's focus on order. We go from what? A to B, which means we go from blue to red. So what do we have to go over here? We have to go from blue to red. So where are we going to go? We're going to go from C to D. And then back to B. All right? Now, how do you know? How do you know if you're right? Let's check this out. It's kind of cool. Look at segment AB. What is segment AB congruent to? Segment AB is congruent to segment BC, or what? Or C. What's segment A to D congruent to? Segment C to B. And last but not least, would you agree that DE is congruent to BD or DB, right? So, what did I say? Order matters. If we didn't put this in the correct order, what if I would have started not with C, but I started with D, I just put DB, C? It would be wrong. Because AB right here is not congruent to what? It's not congruent to DB. So remember, order matters. That's the number one thing I want you guys to understand. Because I had a lot of students say, well, they're the same triangle. No, they're not the same triangle when you are given, what, 3 letters. Because each letter has to match up with the other letter of the other triangle. Okay? All right, last problem. I'm going to start with fresh plate. Or palette, sorry. Here we go. Angle ACD. I'm going to go ahead and write here. A to CD. It's not ACDC, it's just ACD. A to C to D, which represents this angle right here. That's ACD. What's the alternate interior angle of A be a C to D. It's going to be this one right here, right? So what do you want to call this one? I like it. Oh, got the angle symbol. Yeah. CAD. Little CAD. So there we go. Those are the first 6 answers. Now, if you would have put BAC, I would have still counted it right. Okay? All right. All right. On questions 7 through 16, it is all dealing with this parallelogram right here. Okay? So right now, I'm going to get my colors out, and we're going to label some alternate interior angles. So we're going to start right here. We are not going to solve any problems until we have everything perfectly labeled. Everybody see this 38 degrees right here? I'm going to go right up here in this corner, and I'm going to make it the exact same color right here. So I want you to understand, this angle right here is 38 degrees. The next thing I want you to do, shade in a different color. Right here, this is 33 degrees. This angle right here is the same as this alternate interior angle right in here. So you need to label this. If that's 33 degrees, this right here is also 33 degrees. All right, something else you need to be aware of. You guys see this 83 degrees right here. Put that in blue. Now I'm going to go over here and mark this the same, because you're right. What is this also equal to? 83. Why? What do we call this type of vertical angles, right? Vertical angles, let me write the number 3 here. There we go. Vertical angles are always congruent. They're always congruent. Now, even though they don't tell us, guess what? I know exactly what should go here and right here. 83, what number should have to go right there? What do you guys think? Nope.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Nope. Yes. By the way, when I say straight line, you say 180. Straight line.
180.
Straight line.
180.
Okay, so you guys see the straight line right there? That means from here all the way across has to equal 180. What'd you get? No. What? 97 is correct. Put 97 here. And put 97 right here. Now, somebody, I don't know who it said, somebody said 360. Well, you know what? All of them added together is 360. Okay? All of them added together is 360. But when I say straight line, I'm referring to this straight line right here. So these are supplementary. And these are supplementary. Basically means, not going to do a whole bunch. The blue and the green are supplementary. Okay? All right, we are almost done. Every time you guys see a triangle, you should think there's 180 degrees in the triangle. So here's what I'm going to need to get your help on.
And we already know. Two of the angles in that.
Right.
We have the other one.
So I want you guys to add these two up. Add the 97, add the 33 up, take them away from 180, and that's going to give us the measure of this angle. So what I want you to do right now, go ahead. You got your calculator. Add those up. Take them away. I don't think it's 57. I think it's 50. Could be wrong. But you know what? I'm just doing it right now. What's 33 plus 97? That's 130. What's 180 minus 130? 50. Well, I know I'm not using the calculator, except for the one that God gave me. But if that's 50, this also has to be what? This also has to be 50 degrees without doing any work. Why do I know that to be true? Because what do we call these again?
Alternate angles.
Alternate interior angles. Very good. We're almost done. So we have 83. We have 38. I got one more color left, I believe. Maybe I don't. No, I guess I don't. Hold on. We'll just make this one. So what is 180 minus 83 minus 38?
Oh, we're just on
You got 83. You got 38. That gives you 121. What's that going to give us? 59, right? So right here, I want you guys to write 59 degrees right here, and right up here also put 59 degrees. So we have 59 degrees in all of those corners. At this point, you should have all the information you need to solve for 7 through 12. If you look carefully, you should be able to solve for 7 through 12. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'm going to do 3 of them right here. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to start right now with N to R to P. N to R to P is referring to this angle right there. That's NRP. What does that equal to? 30, 30. Boom, we're done. Okay. Everybody? The next one I'm going to do is just number 10. It says angle R, M, N. R to M to N is actually referring, everybody, to this all the way across. That's right. You have to add them up. 209. Boom, you're done. M to Q, R. I start at M. I go to Q, and then where do I travel to?
R.
R.
83.
You understand why I found all the angles before I started solving all the problems? Okay? Because once I got all the angles, guess what? This part is now easy. So I did all the hard work earlier so that this part was easy. I want you guys to find the other ones on your own. Then I'll show you guys how to solve for Y and Z and all that stuff. Plus, all right, I'm going to clear everything out because everything that we have left to do has nothing to do with angles. It has everything to do with distances. Okay? So right now, it says number 13, you're solving for X. So right now, I'm looking for wherever there's an X on the page. Okay. So right now, I'm going to make something a little bit thicker than it needs to be. Right here, we know the distance from M to N is what? 3X minus 4. What's M to N congruent to? Which segment is it congruent to? R to P. So if you wanted to solve for X, all you have to do is set 3X minus 4 equal to 20. Here's what I don't know about you all yet. I don't know how well you know how to solve just basic equations. I'm hoping that everybody knows how to solve it. If you don't, we're going to go over a few steps and you can hopefully get better at this. Otherwise, you will have to spend thousands of dollars in remedial math courses in college. Sorry, developmental math courses in college. They don't call it remedial anymore. Go ahead, Alex. What do you want to do?
Add 4 to 20.
Yep, that's it. So we have what? 3x equals 24. Then divide by 3. Very good. Divide by the number that's in front of the letter. And x is equal to 8. That's all we're asking you to do right now. Now, if you get a decimal, I want you to round it to the nearest 10. Not the nearest hundredth, the nearest 10. There's a couple ends I think you're going to be in the hundreds. You have a question?
X equals 8.
Yeah. Good question. All right. So,
8 and 3.
right now I'm going to go back to the next one.
No.
We're still recording here. Right now we're going to look at not W, not Y. I'm just going to look at Z. So right now I'm going to go to where my Z's are. Check this out. This right here, everybody, is saying this segment right there is 3Z minus 3. So right from here to there, I'm going to choose a different color so you can see it a little bit easier. From here to right there is 15.4. And what do the diagonals of a parallelogram do? They bisect each other. Which means this. which means this segment has to be congruent to this segment. So what you're going to do is you're going to write 3 z. That's how I write my z's, everybody. So you aren't confused that it's a 2. So every time you see me write a z, I put a slash through. Minus 3 equals what? 15.4. Once again, what are we going to do to both sides? We're going to add 3 to both sides. We get 18.4. Now, why are we adding 3? Because we need to get this to what? To equal to 0. And whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. And then you divide both sides by 3. And what did you get on this one? Z is equal to what? 6.13, but I said round it to the nearest tenth. So on your paper, you would put Z equals 6.1.
That's what I said. Heck yeah.
All right. All right. I'm not going to help you guys with W or Y, but I will help you guys with the very, 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 very final problem. The final problem has nothing to do with this over here. This is a little word problem. It says 2 consecutive angles of a parallelogram measure this degrees and this degrees. It says what are the measures of the angles. So consecutive angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our properties. Go to your properties. What does it say the consecutive angles of a parallelogram are always going to be equal to? 180. So consecutive angles aren't always equal to each other, but they are always equal to 180 if you add them together. Here's what I want you to do.
Add those two together.
You're going to take 3x plus 42, which that right there represents one angle. You're going to add it to 9x minus 18, which represents another angle, and you're going to set it equal to what? 180 degrees. And now you have to solve for x. But when you solve for x, you're not done. Once you solve for x, have we solved for x before today? Yes, or solve for z, or whatever it is. Whatever you get for x, what I want you to do, take that number that you get for x, plug it in there, and that gives you the measure of one angle. Plug it in there, and that will give you the measure of the other angle. What should those two angles add up to equal? 180 degrees. Now that you know if you got it right. Good luck.